How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and in front of me is a car that you guys haven't seen for a very long time, and that's for a very good reason. You see, Ferrari parts take a long time to get, and this Ferrari needed a lot of work. In fact, the last time you saw it, it looked like this. Yeah, that wasn't very good. But now it looks like this. It's not just because of me. Actually, it's not because of me at all. It's because of my friend Jack. Wow.
Energy.
That was.
I'm adding energy.
That was a lot of energy.
I'm adding energy. I need.
So
energy.
Jack completely redid the front of this car, and he also did the quarter panel of this car. And he primed the car, and he sanded the car, and he got the car ready, and it's about to go to paint. But I know that you guys like to see time lapses and work and stuff like that. Jack did all this work without telling me that he was gonna do it. He just did it because he's a body guy. And me making videos, I was like, hey dude, did you put it on video? And did you actually put it on video?
Every single one of them.
You use your iPhone?
I use my iPhone.
Oh my god.
It has been a very busy week for me. I have the roof repaired on the Ferrari as well as the quarter panel installed completely, new bracket installed, and now I'm getting started on the front tub. So yesterday I cleaned off all the seam sealer and paint that was on the inside, and now I've had to do a repair here. This was a burn car, so it caused a lot of damage to the metal. It thinned the metal out in this area right here. So what I've had to do is add metal, as you can tell, and I've been grinding it down and getting my gaps right. So let's get started. Now with the tub finished, very short list left. Repair the dents on the quarter panel, the roof, the pillars, a little bit of seam sealer, and this thing is ready to go.
All right, guys, a quick aside here. Speaking of taking things apart, do you remember in the mid-90s and early 2000s when you bought a car and you had to get the dealership installed security system, and it took a while to install? They did a bunch of wiring work. It ended up draining the battery, and it didn't even work half the time. Well, thankfully, there is now a much better solution, and it's called Recover. So what this is some extra security for your car that you can install in 30 seconds completely wirelessly. So what Recover allows you to do is you can get your stolen car back fast, you can find it if you forgot where you parked it, and you can provide instant alerts if the car is moved without your permission. And here's how much confidence Recover has. It comes with a $5,000 limited warranty if a car's not recovered, plus $1,000 towards insurance deductibles. So keep in mind, Recover is a dealer install, so go to the nearest dealer that you can trust and tell them that they need Recover. So go check this out in the link in the video description below. It is a game changer for car security. Go check it out right now. Okay, we're gonna go handheld and I'm gonna show you everything that we did to this car, and we is him. So what did we do?
Quite a bit. So we started off, you and I both cut the tub off. Once we got the tub cut off, the car kind of sat for a minute. We waited for parts. Once we got the parts in, that's when the fun began. Started with putting the front tub on, so we welded everything from here forward and replaced that with a new tub. This was the burn front end that we got, so there was a lot of work that needed to be done to this. Let's go over here real quick. So this thing was quite crispy in this area. So what ended up happening is where they put the metal over and they roll it, it cracked, so I had to weld that back together. I had to fix dents from flexing all over the car. The roof detached from the body right here.
The roof detached from the body, so the roof was like just flapping about in the breeze?
It literally was. I could like push down on it and you could see the whole roof flexing across.
And a lot of you might not know this, but the roofs on these cars, on these exotic cars, especially Ferrari and Lamborghini of this era, they're just really thin metal. So it's just like aluminum or steel, and now it doesn't flex no more. So that's good.
Yeah, it was really bad. It wasn't fun. Wait, no, everything is fun. This is great. It was amazing.
Yeah, I was about to say, how dare you? So this is a quarter panel that we got from Fur Parts, and this needed a bit of work, as you can see by the massive amount of primer on here.
Once we got this thing in, we kind of evaluated, looked at it. We weren't sure what we were going to do, weren't sure of the route that we were going to go with it, but we ultimately decided to use it. It was sectioned in, I think right about here is where we put the section in. We made several custom brackets. This piece here is actually a piece of 2x4 or 1x2.
Not wood. We're not talking about wood.
Yeah. Aluminum it was like 1x3 or something like that. So I cut it in half, and it actually is a C-channel piece that they use, but I made my own piece, and then that's where the rocker panel bolts into. The roof was repaired here as well as here. We had a small ding here that I had to repair, so we're just gonna have to quickly fix that and get that ready. But other than that, that is pretty much everything on the car besides disassembling the whole car and getting it ready for the next steps. So
the next steps, which is prep and paint, but we also have the front bumper here that I don't think people saw in the last episode, because this, for all intents and purposes, is a OEM style front bumper, but it's not an OEM front bumper. And it looks fine, other than the fact that when it got to us, it was not in great shape, right?
Oh, I love fiberglass repair. It's great. Yeah. No, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. Gel coat has a lot of issues with holes, right? So when they make these bumpers, they lay down something called gel coat. Once they lay the gel coat down, which is this white stuff right here, they lay the fiberglass on the inside of it, and this gives you a nice smooth surface. Well, what ends up happening is you get air pockets in there, and if those aren't taken care of while doing the fiberglass work, later on when you go to sand this, they will pop back up in this gel coat. So you'll have big pits and holes.
Yeah.
So we had to sand this whole bumper down, and then once we sanded the whole bumper down, I found all the pits and the holes, fixed all those. Not only did we fix those, where they put the vent in here, there was a perfect line all the way from here to here, all the way to here.
And when you say perfect, that is imperfect, because it's not supposed to be there.
Yeah. And then if you are familiar with the Scuderia, you'll know that it's missing the hood squirters, or not hood squirters, the headlight squirters, and the marker lights. So we ended up shaving those to go with a cleaner look on the car. So.
Yeah, I never ever used those, so I just wanted to get rid of those. And the Euro version of this car doesn't have those marker lights, so I figured why not make everything super clean. So the gel coat on this is aftermarket, but we had some issues with gel coat on an OEM piece, and that is right here, the back bumper. And even though the back wasn't in any sort of accident, it still needed work, right?
Yeah, this was actually really bad. Like, all of this was peeling and chipping. You can actually see I didn't sand inside of here because it really won't be necessary, but that was doing that all the way across the rear bumper. So this whole section had to be stripped down to the fiberglass, primed, and it's being blocked right now. It's not perfectly blocked out, but it's so much better than it was. It was really bad.
So the reason for that is because Ferrari, in their infinite wisdom, thought, we're gonna put a very hot exhaust next to some untreated fiberglass, and we're just gonna send it. And that's it. They just sent it on a car that cost $200,000, $300,000. So that's smart.
It's a Ferrari.
It's a Ferrari. Okay, so right now what we're gonna do is we have some sanding left to go on this car, and then we have to load it up onto the trailer and then load up all the parts, and then we got to take it to the paint shop where our friend Lewis is going to paint this car, and you guys will see the color, and then I am going to have a mild heart attack because this is one of the most expensive cars I've ever had painted. Right?
You mean like most expensive car or most expensive paint job?
I mean, the most expensive car is right back there.
I was gonna say that one's probably the most expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, the prices on these are going up too, so it's... do you know how much a car like this is worth now?
Last time I checked, it was like around 190.
It's like 250 now.
250.
It's crazy. It is so nuts. Okay, all right. I'm getting a little anxious here. I'm giving myself anxiety. Let's not do that. Let's just prep this and then go to the paint shop. Holy moly, look at this thing. We got a Ferrari.
She's pretty.
She's pretty. This thing is beautiful, man. Like, do you remember, I mean, you obviously remember what we started out with. Yeah. And this is not the same car, man.
Dude, it's such an awesome feeling to see where it is now from where it was, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really, really happy with this car.
Dude, I can't imagine a better result? Well, right now you might see that there's some panel gaps on the bumper. We just put that bumper in. Yeah, you can stick your finger in there.
Careful. You are gonna get demonetized for that.
Oh, I am gonna get demonetized for that. So that is just for mock-up purposes. I still have to do the cooling packs. We're missing some parts there. And I also had some sort of bad news on some of the components in there. I'll get to that in a second. But I just wanted to go around and I want you to explain a little bit of what we had to do to get all this stuff on here in an OEM fashion, because what we're trying to do is recreate everything from the Ferrari factory, or at least as good as a Ferrari factory, if not better. So what do we have to do to put this car together?
Everything. Like, there was nothing that went together easy on this car.
No.
It was funny because in the first video, I think I said, you know, it's not that bad, right? It wasn't that bad, but putting it together is that bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, it's worse, yes. This was a particular pain. We have the panel gaps here, the panel gaps there. This, for anybody paying attention at home, is not just a fender, it's a Fender like complete assembly for both fenders and the front, and this is all glued and bolted to the frame, and you had to basically mock everything up before it went on the car, right?
Yeah, probably, I think I spent about 2 days just on the front fender. There's 5 pieces that are welded together from the factory. You have a center piece here, these 2 top pieces that go all the way to the back, and then right at the body line right here, it's separated and they weld another piece on there. So there's 5 actual pieces that make up this that are welded together at the factory, and then they put it on the specific car that it's going on. And so we had to make it fit this car, and then we had a different tub from another car, so there was pieces after pieces, and it was just, wasn't easy, but and the end result is really good. I'm very happy with it.
I think so too, and we had to do a lot of modification to the back over here because, as you know, Ferrari panel gaps are not the best, but we tried to get them as good as humanly possible. And what we had to do was we had to Google the back end of this Ferrari just to see what the panel gaps were, and they were atrocious. I mean, you just saw the worst panel gaps, even on the Ferrari press photos, and you realize that's because the fitment between this and this, you see, it's a little smaller here, it pinches right here, and then it opens up here. We tried to make them as good left to right, and as uniform left to right as we could. We see it like pinches right here, gets a little bit bigger, and don't even get me started on this. This is like, we spent days on this, just getting the bumper lined up. And then you got this guy. So this is nice and small and uniform, and then it just goes huge right here for no apparent reason. This is the way Ferrari did it. There is no better way, and these are all OEM Ferrari panels. It's not like we're using aftermarket stuff. So I don't know, your guess is as good as mine, but I think we got it as good as we possibly could. The flush fitment here is really good. Flush is good here, and everything closes as it's supposed to, but how big of a pain in the butt was this?
How many days have we spent on this now?
Everything was like multiple days, man. Like little stuff was multiple days.
We spent like 3 days on the bumper. We spent 2 days on the hatch. We spent a few days on the doors. We spent this day pretty much getting the hood to line up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been one thing after another. We had to like set the rocker covers in place and then take them back off. I think, what did we take that like 2 or 3 times?
I think it was like 5 times at this point. Yeah.
So, but all in all, like it looks really good. I'm really happy with everything. And then not only that, everything had a stack of shims.
Yes.
The door had shims. The rockers have shims, the bumpers have shims, the gate has shims holding it on up here.
Yes.
This was shimmed, the hood is shimmed, the latch for the hood is shimmed.
And by shims, we just mean like a stack of washers to space things out.
Yeah, and not even like a little bit, like this is for the front bumper. So that's gonna go between the bumper, and they'll probably add a few more. What do you got, 5 right there?
Yeah.
So 5, that was one of the sides, and then 5 on that side. So it's even.
So we have a car that is cosmetically basically there. We are missing some parts, like the Scuderia shield. I have to order a new one of those. Those are, how much do you think those are right now?
Man, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Maybe another guess, $100.
Okay, I mean, it's a Ferrari. You can go a little higher than that.
15,000?
That's way too high.
That was a joke, right?
It's $1,500 now. It doesn't seem so bad.
Wow.
But it's $1,500 per side. Yeah. To get the OEM ones, you can get the stick-on ones, the sticker ones, but I feel like with this car, you need something that's a little bit more substantial.
Yeah, they're heavy too. They have like a nice heavy feel to them, and they look like, you know, they look like this. They have like a nice, you know, there's something to them. It's not just a sticker.
Yeah, and I also got headlights, and these headlights were modified from Australia, and you can see that these are what the car would have came with, because these have carbon fiber. Not all of them do, and not all Scuderias do. They have carbon fiber only on the carbon package, which I have. You have carbon here and on the inside and all the other stuff, so I wanted to make sure that this was as OEM as possible. And it looks fantastic, man. I can't This is one of my favorite Ferrari shapes. I think this is the last like truly pretty Ferrari that they've made. The 458 looks good, but there's some weird angles to it. I think this is like, they nailed it. And I can't wait to drive it, but we have some issues with that part, don't we?
Yeah, when I was putting the suspension together the other day, I had the rotor on and I started giving it a little bit of a wiggle, and immediately I could tell there's just too much play.
Let's show the audience.
Yeah, let's do it on that side.
Okay.
So I think the other side was worse actually, but you can tell like it's just, you hear that noise. That's not supposed to do that. So at about 120, 130 miles an hour, that might feel like way worse.
Pretty bad, yeah. So that is not a problem with the tie rods. The tie rods are okay. That is a problem with the steering rack itself because of the accident, I'm guessing. So maybe there was a ceramic gear or something in there that stripped. Yeah. And now we have to rebuild the steering rack. So that's good. So I have to take out that steering rack and then take it to a place that rebuilds them, because you can't buy these things new anymore, because Ferrari doesn't make parts for this car anymore, really.
Really?
Yeah. They don't make steering racks for this car.
It's like everything for this car, really easy to find and just, great and easily accessible.
Of course, yeah. It's wonderful, just like those rotors that are very, very cheap, and you can find them at your nearest auto parts place. If you open up the door, so we have the carbon panel installed. Oh, it's nice, isn't it? Oh, yeah. This is a pretty nice piece of kit. But one thing you'll notice is that I am missing an airbag. And the airbag blew. I mean, I got that part from Fur Parts, so we have a good passenger side airbag. We don't have any driver side airbag. And those are actually really, really, really hard to come by because we couldn't find them anywhere.
Yeah, so are we going to talk about this one?
Should we?
We should talk about this.
Okay.
We don't have to name names maybe, but we can say what happened, right? Or should we name names?
I kind of feel like I should name names.
Yeah.
Because, okay, so Jack wanted to help me find an airbag.
Yes.
And he did. He found somebody selling an airbag from a Ferrari F430. Unfortunately, I think that guy scammed me out of my money, so that's $1,400 I'm never going to see again.
Yeah.
And I don't want to name names, but here is his name on screen. Absolutely don't, harass this person or anything. But
that sounds like sarcasm.
No, it's really not sarcasm. Please don't harass this person.
Okay, don't harass that person.
Yeah, don't harass that person. But also don't do business with him. Like on anything, ever.
That left a sour taste in my mouth because we were looking everywhere, and then I'm like, man, I'm thinking outside the box. So I actually went on a Facebook group, found a group with parts, put out the note for it, like, hey guys, I'm looking for these parts. Got two people that hit me back up. One guy was in the UK, and this guy was in New York. So it was like, okay, well, should I have said that? But anyway, it was just like, and it was really disappointing. Kind of just leaves a sour taste in your mouth and just reminds you of sometimes people can be crappy people.
It's okay. So if anybody has a Ferrari F430 or 430 Scuderia airbag, driver side airbag, please hit me up. I will buy it because I need that for the car to be complete, because I want the car to be complete. I want to drive it. Don't worry about that door panel not being there. That's just a little bit of an oversight. I literally just forgot that we didn't put it in, but that's okay. We have to now do some more work on this car because The brakes on the front aren't on. We have the wheels that still aren't on. I'm not using the stock wheels. We have some custom wheels for that. And also we're gonna do a little bit of a livery on this, aren't we?
Yeah. Are you gonna talk about it?
Nah, I think we're gonna leave that for next time. But dude, this thing looks freaking sweet. Like, these things are going for $200,000 plus, and now this looks like it. This looks exactly like a supercar should. So I think that's an episode. I mean, we got a lot of work done in this. I don't know how many weeks and months went by since we started, but it was a lot of work. And I want to thank you, because you did basically all of it, and I just like turned some wrenches and wrote the checks and stuff. So I get, you know what?
That's important.
That it is important. You got to pay people
Without
to do
the checks,
things.
You can't buy the parts.
You can't do anything.
So
you can't pay people for painting. You can't pay people for doing the body work. Doing the body work.
No, body work. Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Dude, this looks so good. All right, so that is it for today's episode. We got a ton of work done on this Ferrari, and it is almost there. We still need to do some mechanical work. I have a lot of mechanical surprises for that car, and I hope you guys tune in. But I want to thank Recover for being the sponsor of this entire series. Definitely go check them out in the link in the video description below. I use them on all my cars, and they are a godsend when you have this many cars. But until next time, this is me reminding you guys that on cars like these that used to be lost causes but aren't anymore, you guys should always build them better, and to do that, you should wrench every day.